All right, and we're back, my friends. Thank you for hanging around. Thank you for letting me take that short break. And welcome to Vectorman. The music that you enjoyed during the BRB, that's the newest song by Sparrow the Dragoon, who makes almost all the music that I play during the startup time and the BRBs. But he just put that song together, and I think it's really wonderful. That might be my favorite of the pieces that he's made so far. But if you want to check out more of Sparrow's work, he's got a Twitch channel and a SoundCloud that you can find through those links right there. And Cows, welcome in. Great to see you, Cows. Welcome to a kind of low energy night tonight. I'm feeling very sleepy. We just finished with Scooby-Doo. I started up Mystery Mayhem on the Game Boy Advance, and we completed one chapter of that. Took about 2 hours, but it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It's definitely way better than the last Scooby game that we played. So things are looking up so far as Scooby games are concerned right now. I think I'll like it. I think I'll like it even more when I'm not terribly sleepy. But now we're gonna play some Vectorman. I'm still trying to beat this for the first time. I've never beaten it. I've played it a couple times on the stream. And I've done better. I do better every time. But it's a pretty tough game, and there are limited continues. So those two factors are really working against me with this game. I go to the options right away as I want my buttons changed around just a little bit. It's so very bright. Okay. So I think what I'm going to try and do is take things a little bit more slowly with this game tonight. And I'm going to try and learn and remember where different sort of secrets and power-ups are, so that I can start making better runs through this game. This attempt may already be lost, though. If I can't get back up there, then I'm gonna want to reset. I don't know if it's faster to just... I'm trying to take damage and can't do it. If you get hit during your iframes in this game, you don't take damage, of course, because they're iframes, but it also resets your iframes. So if you keep getting hit quickly enough, you'll just stay invincible forever because your iframe time will keep resetting. It's kind of weird. It's something that I would imagine you could theoretically manipulate to your advantage, but I do not imagine ever becoming that proficient at this game. It's a pretty fun game, if only the time limit in the game. The time limit game is really tough. It's way... It's not nearly generous enough. If the time limits were more generous, this would be... Like, that's I think my biggest problem with the game. As the game stands, like, you know, it's in a lot of ways it's really my kind of game. I like a sort of run and gun game. You know, I like those. It's got a double jump. Double jump's my favorite move. That's my favorite ability in basically any game, because it's like the signature ability of my favorite game. So any game that lets me double jump, you know I'm going to be happy about that. Okay, I don't want to collect that. Where can we get to with this? Why am I going through the platform? Hang on. There's a platform there. Why did I guess... Well, I guess that's how that works. I missed something. Okay, that was a checkpoint. Those bugs, I really don't like those bugs. Oh, I like that the levels are like... They're really open and you can explore and there's lots of secrets. That's why I hate the time limit so much. I really dislike when a game fills its levels with a lot of, like, motivation to explore, and then gives you a really narrow time limit. It's just disgusting. I don't appreciate these sort of mixed messages. It's like, do you want me to explore, or do you want me to rush? That's my biggest problem with Sonic games. Is they're almost so wonderfully they're almost so wonderfully built around exploration, but it's all ruined by a terrible timer system. Uh-oh. Speaking of things being ruined, these enemies are about to ruin me. Our extra lives are super important, because there are no continues in this game. When I run out of lives, we will lose 100% of our progress. Was this an arcade game originally? I don't think so, Cows, but I actually don't know either, so... I don't know if that item will despawn or not. It did. Oh, that's potentially terrible. Okay, that was extra time. I think that this item that I missed here was basically a heart container. Because you see how we've got 4 little gray health orbs down there? There are items in the game that will add a gray health orb permanently. So they're basically heart containers from Zelda. But I think that item, I'm not sure, but I think that item was the health container, and now I've permanently missed out on it. Alright, what I'm going to do is hit reset. I don't want to reset the game a whole bunch tonight, but I think it's going to be really important to our success that I learn stage 1 really well, and that I get a good understanding of stage 1, because we've made it really far into this game. But because I don't have a very strong understanding of how it works, we eventually end up in places where we bleed lives, and I can't do a whole lot about it. There's 4 different versions of Monster Mayhem. I went to check. There's the GBA, Xbox, PS2, and GameCube. Yeah, I imagine that the I didn't know it was on all of those consoles. I think I'd seen the I don't think we can get a second chance at that jump. I'm not 100% sure. I think I've seen the PlayStation 2 version. But I mean, I imagine that the 3 console versions are basically identical. So if I track it down on any console, we could probably make a comparison. But I'm not exactly in the market for another Scooby-Doo game. But, you know, maybe one day. Heat up a frozen burrito? Right on. I tend to eat my burritos exceedingly plain. If I get a burrito, I get, the only thing I get inside of it is meat. Just meat wrapped in a tortilla. This is invincibility? Yeah, that's invincibility. Oh, invincibility is like a star. We can run through enemies. We got unlucky. So when you kill enemies, they have a chance to drop a multiplier. And when you pick up a multiplier, all the items you touch while it's active are activated. So like if we have a 3 times multiplier and we run into a 1-up, that 1-up becomes a 3-up. Now that's really great. Okay. I wasn't sure what that item did for me. Health up. And the multipliers, some of the multipliers are huge. Like there's a times 10 multiplier, but that one's really rare, of course. The odds that I'm going to find a times 10 multiplier and make it to a 1-up before it wears off are very small. I don't like these enemies. This game is hard. Alright, was this a heart piece? It is, look at that. Now we've got 5 hits. Perfect. That was worth restarting for. Now I know where it is too, so. See, look, there's a multiplier. If I'd gotten that before I got those 1-ups, would have been great. I wonder what was in that TV. Okay, extra time. Beautiful. Guess we can still go up and see what was in that. The bugs respawn every time you encounter them. They're the worst thing. They're the worst thing ever. That's just a health. Your sandwich and burrito choices are consistent, at least StatCat says. That they are. Beef and bean. My favorite have beef, bean, and peppers. Didn't have my favorite in stock, so I just got the beef and bean. I mean, when I make fajitas, I make, you know, it's meat, bell peppers, spicy peppers, onion, garlic, and tomato, all thrown inside a tortilla. So you would think that I could eat a more adventurous burrito, but I don't know. None of my, I'm a wildly, like, timid, picky eater, and none of my preferences make any sense. There's no consistency. Doe, welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you with us again. How goes it? I'm doing pretty well. I'm really sleepy tonight. My schedule got I didn't sleep very well, and then my schedule got all kind of thrown off today. So I'm very tired tonight, and we probably won't have a super long stream because of that, but I'm hanging in there for now. We started up a new Scooby-Doo game in the first half of the stream, and it looks like it's going to be maybe not terrible, so that's frequently the best I can hope for. So I'll take it, and yeah, we're making another run at Vectorman, and gonna see if we can beat it. We're gonna try this, you know, once or twice, depending on how it goes and how long it takes, how my energy holds up. It'd be nice to beat it. I don't think that's very likely. I don't have a whole lot of lives right now, but we'll see. Just happy to jump in. Hope your Tuesday has treated you well. If I bit into a sandwich with a burrito with just meat, my mouth would become what Anakin hates. I'm right there with him. Anakin Skywalker is my favorite character from Star Wars because he gets it. I want to stay as far away from the desert as possible. I don't want to go to the beach because it reminds me of the desert. I don't know if I ever said I love your emotes. I used them on another stream and got awesome compliments. Thank you. Thank you for that, Doe. I really appreciate that. So my wife, Lucent Jelly, she does almost all of my artwork. And she's the one who's put together the emotes for us. And I'm quite fond of them. I kind of like the one thing about them. Like I kind of like that they're all sort of themed to the stream and whatnot. But the one thing about them is they're all themed with a frowny face, and so, you know, if someone's not really familiar with the stream, then they probably read differently. So I actually, my concern is that they're not especially useful outside of the stream, except for maybe the tombstone. And I guess the heart, though, it's... Yeah, maybe those two are the most useful. Frownie's emotes are top tier, Cow says. I guess the game over one is pretty ubiquitous too. Maybe they're more useful than I think. Ubiquitous is the wrong word. I should have said universal. There's no TVs around here? I guess not. Hey Shino, welcome to the stream. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another run at Vectorman. Off to a kind of a mediocre start. But still plenty of opportunity to turn it around. So much of the, like, items and stuff look the same in Vectorman. It's kind of difficult. It makes the game a little difficult because it's just hard to tell what you're looking at sometimes. That's unfortunate. Times 10 multiplier. Does me no good because I don't know where to take it to. Anakin is the whole story. I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy. I watched, you know, the original trilogy when I was a kid, and I really liked those movies. Of course, and I was kind of into them for a while, but like I'm not I don't really keep current with all the Star Wars media and lore. I haven't even seen all the movies. I've seen most of them, but and I mean I haven't even seen all the mainline movies, much less I don't think I've seen any of the spin-offs yet. The side stories or whatever. It's too big when, like, so far as like media franchises are concerned, I really prefer them to stay small and contained. The more entries there are to something, it very quickly becomes very unlikely that I'll become involved with it. I'm old enough to have seen them all in theaters. I'm a huge fan. Right on. I've probably seen the original trilogy like maybe a half a dozen times in my life. The prequels I've probably seen 2 or 3 times each. And I've seen I saw most of number 8. I didn't see the whole thing. I did not see 7 or 9. Or any of the others. I did read a Star Wars novel one time when I was in 7th grade, I think. I read a Star Wars novel. It was about Boba Fett. That's the only thing I remember. I don't remember what the plot was or what he did. I just remember that it was about him. I don't even know if I read the whole thing. But yeah, I find it really hard to get into things like that when they've got like a really, like when they're really sprawling. That's why it's very difficult for me to pick up and get into like a new TV show or something because they always have like a million episodes. You're a bit of the contrary yourself. Yeah, I feel like most people I come across are more like that, where they tend to like their franchises to be really sprawling. So there's a whole lot to you know, like a whole lot of lore and official installments and things like that to delve into. I know I can open this. I've done it before. Can't read a recommended book or show. You have to explore it on your own. Stat Cat says, never cared for Star Wars. Welcome back, Shino. I need to get moving. I don't want to rush through the levels tonight because I want to see if I can learn and remember where some things are, but like I was saying before, the time limit is just so very cruel. I guess I'm in the in-between. I was too old for the prequels, but didn't watch the original trilogy because we didn't have it on VHS. Fair enough. I mean, it just might not be, you know, this might not be your thing at the end of the day. I watched the prequels a lot as a child, Chaos says. I watched, I've probably seen the Phantom Menace the most of any of the prequels. That was the only one that I had on a VHS. Someone gave me that one as a gift. And so I saw it a bunch just because I had it. This is not Scooby-Doo. This is not. We already played our portion of Scooby for the night. We'll be picking Scooby-Doo up again tomorrow. That's just the earlier part of the stream activity. I have been lied to. I remember watching the first two prequels in theater, but I fell asleep. I don't think I've ever fallen asleep in a theater during a movie. Even though the movie's terribly boring, I'll always stay awake just because it's like, well, I paid money for this. Cool. I mean, that wasn't anything really great. Alright. I was having trouble getting my double jump to behave properly. No, I'm too close to the enemy. I accidentally slept through so many movies in college. Checkpoint. So, I understand. I ran out of time. You see, I hate the time limit. It ruins all of my happiness. Want to go over here? No. Come down here. Can I hang to the left? Yes, but there's no point. There's something going on down there, because there's all these enemies below me, but I don't know how to get down there to where they're at yet. I got one piece of health left now, too. And I lost it. I didn't even see what hit me. I mean, I know it was that enemy, but I didn't see a bullet come out. Happiness versus time limit. Happiness always loses. It's not like a general thing where like it's not that I hate time limits in games. That's not even the case. I frequently think a time limit, you know, can be an important and valid part of a game, sure. But not an exploratory game. If you design levels if you design levels for deep exploration and then you also include a time limit, then you're a real villain. And you were definitely not invited to my birthday party. This guy's still alive. Okay, did that? Nope. I thought maybe if I took that guy out, it would disable that. The shield around the, it has a shield around it. I know it can be disabled because I've disabled one before. secret passageway. Here we go. Nice. Look, I knew I could get down here. Look, I disabled the shield. I'm a master. I'm a Vectorman master. Hey, Four Sides, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. You came in at a great time. A moment of victory. Oh, thank you for the hydrate stat, Cat. I'll enjoy that after the bonus level. I'm kind of... got to stay focused here. I've never won a bonus level. Welcome in, friends of Four Sides. Is that Peachy Girl? And King of Red Lions? Great to have you here as well. Victory! Alright, I think I won. I've never won a level bonus before. It didn't really give me anything, though. If I don't win extra lives, then I don't care. Use that link there in the shout out, my friends, to give Four Sides a follow. In addition to Elden Ring, Four Sides occasionally does retro content and also does Super Smash Brothers, among other things. This game is a blast from the past. This game is for me, it's not really, I don't have the nostalgia for it. One, because I was a Nintendo kid growing up, and well, I mean, I guess that's why. That's why number two, I never played it until last week. I'm still trying to beat it for the first time. So this is, even though I've played it now for two, this is the third stream where I've played it. It's still technically my first playthrough until I beat it, right? So I'm giving it my best shot. It's a really hard game though, and there are no continues. That's the roughest part. When you lose all your lives, that's it. You're toast. All that learning yesterday, you did some good. You did some good today. Thank you, StatCat. Was it? It wasn't just yesterday. Oh, I thought you specifically meant learning about Vectorman, but no, I get it because we played those educational games yesterday. That's right. Hey, Doe, thank you for the gift sub. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that support, and StatCat, take a key for coming in. You're more of a Nintendo kid yourself, so you never made it far in this game at all. Most Sega games, to be honest. Yeah, when I was young, I never really knew anyone who had anything Sega, really. I had one cousin who had a Game Gear, and I had one aunt who had a Genesis. But the only games I remember playing with my cousin, I think we might have played one of the Sonic games on the Game Gear. That seems familiar. We played a puzzle game called Slider that I remember really liking, and we played a Power Rangers game. And my aunt had Sonic Spinball. I think that might have been the only game she had. So like my experience with Sega games was kind of limited to those four things. The Game Gear version of those first three and the Genesis version of that last one. Didn't encounter much other Sega, if any. But I've been really enjoying like exploring it on the stream. Right, Castlevania Bloodlines was really great. Ghouls and Ghosts is all right. I don't like it as much as Ghosts and Goblins or Super Ghouls, but it's pretty fun. I had a good time with the Sonic games that we played, so there's a lot there to enjoy. But there's so much more waiting for me. Vectorman is one. Although I'd never played this game before, I did remember the commercials. I don't remember them specifically, but I remember seeing commercials for this game when I was young, and being sad that it was not available on the Super Nintendo, because it looked like something I would enjoy from the commercials, and I'm a pretty I would say I'm enjoying this game quite a bit. I'm just not very good at it yet. I guess I want this. I should be looking around for more secret passages. I was just too young to understand how to get through most Sega games. Me and my brother played a lot of Sonic 2, though. I probably, I'm sure I played a lot more games than I ever beat when I was young. In fact, outside of Mario titles, it's actually really difficult for me to think of a lot of games that I beat. Because, like, I know I never beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts when I was young. I never beat Zombies Ate My Neighbors, or The Lion King, right? Those are games I had that I never beat. Trying to think what else. Bartman meets Radioactive Man. I had that as a kid. I never beat it. It probably wasn't until the Nintendo 64 where I started, like, sort of, like, semi-consistently actually beating games. Probably didn't happen until the Nintendo 64. I'm running out of time again. I hate the time limits in this game. They just fill me with sadness. Paperboy on the NES. I played Paperboy. I didn't own Paperboy. One of my friends had it. I think he had the NES version. When I picture it in my head, I pictured it as being 8-bit, so it must have been. I did play Paperboy on the stream one night, but it was Paperboy 2, and I am terrible at it. I am horrible at Paperboy. I will never beat that game. In order to get good enough to beat that game, I would have to play nothing but Paperboy for the rest of my life, and I can't commit to that. Oh yeah, very tough. I don't know. Should I go up here? I guess we have time now since we lost a life. I think I might have been tricked. Maybe. Oh, maybe not. Come on, give me something good. A multiplier. That's weak. Checkpoint. Good, because I'm probably about to die. It's the boss! I'm dead. I had 2 lives left. 2 lives, and no! There was some goodies up there, did you see? I missed out. 2 lives, and then we go back to the title screen. This boss is destroying me. Is destroying me. I did not find that boss to be very difficult before. Yes! Oh, that's a heart container. Nice. We've got to remember that's there. Ooh, and a spread gun? Oh, last life now. Why is this boss so hard? This boss was so easy the other night. Like right now, we've basically got it stun locked. Well, maybe not. Oh, I think I know. I think I know. Maybe I don't know. Victory! We're moving on. It's almost a game over. These bonus levels are very, very strange. Oh, I didn't know that's what the arrow did. I've never stepped on one before. I've never even noticed those arrows existed before, much less stepped on one. This is rough. I'm not doing very well. I'm sorry, friends. I've made it much further than this on previous runs. Well, It was nice knowing you, Vectorman. From the top. We'll take another. We'll take another run at it. Oh. Nice. Missing that jump really like puts the run off to a annoying start. Is that a checkpoint? I don't know what that is. I'm looking for a multiplier if I can find one. Okay, I'm not going down there because there's no way back. Is this a... Oh, I can stand up here. Interesting. Alright. If we find a multiplier, our fortunes vastly improve. ×3 multiplier. I've just got to be real fast. No. The dream is still alive. That ×3 multiplier turned these 1-ups into 3-ups. We've got 8 lives. Oh, this game's wonderful. We're starting off real strong. Real strong now. Okay. Is that a thing? No, I don't know what that is. It's just part of scenery. That's what I wanted to happen before. The trouble of starting off with so many lives is that my, well, we run the risk of me developing a very cavalier attitude toward throwing them away. Another life. We've got 9 in the pocket. I've got no time though. The clock is crushing me right now. And I've got no health. I've got no time and no health. Alright, we're about to get our health back, though. If I'm careful. This has health. Bugs. Bugs! Go away, bugs! Alright, I really desperately need some time. Please, please. Time! This level's going great. Throwing lives away. I've been guilty of it. I cannot lie. I could never play this game. Having to do so many jumps without platforms would be too stressful for me. I can certainly sympathize. Yeah, I wonder what kind of secret is in that tube up there on the left. I've never successfully made it in there yet. I bet that's something good. Oops. We're okay. Oh, one thing, your health doesn't refill in between levels. That makes it kind of tough. So if you survive a level with only one hit left, then you're gonna die immediately on the next level, most likely. Ten lives. That's so exciting. This level's hard. It's hard because it's awkward. And I'm doing so bad. So bad immediately. I'm throwing lives away, I told you. I just celebrated 10 lives. I shouldn't have celebrated anything because we're gonna lose them all right here. Seriously. I beat this on the first try last time. And that time I did it damageless. Oh, what happened to my 10 lives? I'm so sad. See, now would be a great time to find a 1-up, but I don't know where one exists. But when I've got this ×5 multiplier... I was trying to rush through the level there because I wanted to see if I could get to a 1-up or something. It did not happen. I think there is a 1-up, but it's so far away. Getting to it with the multiplier active. Okay, I think the 1-up is up here. Nope. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of a different level altogether. I did earn a 1-up somewhere. Oh, I'm really far back. Someone, please drop some health. No. I'm the worst. Okay, not gonna take damage here like I did last time. There we go. Don't want the fish costume. Here's that times 10 multiplier. Now if there was an extra life. No. I picked up a times 2 multiplier, so even if I did find anything good, I lost the good multiplier. I don't think there is anything though. That's just health. Alright. Why is he called Vectorman when he's, in fact, Raster? I'm not even sure that I know what that means, Sparrow. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for that amazing song that you put together, my friend. We've been playing it tonight. We've been playing it tonight during the breaks, and I've been enjoying it all day long. That may be my favorite piece of music that I've heard from you yet. I really enjoy it. I like those sort of bright chimes against that sort of like, I don't know, like I don't know what you call it, like that crashing sound. It's like sounds almost like when you ring a metal bowl. It's very pleasing. It's the kind of thing I just want to put on and just drift off to sleep. I think it could give you some very good dreams. Spread gun, don't mind if I do. Oh, that's it. I'm at the end of the level already. I know there's got to be some good stuff hidden in this level, and I just have yet to find it. It seems more suitable for the stream, too. I mean, we are sort of in a bit of a more chilled out, ambient sort of zone most of the time. Yeah, Doe, if you use the, there's a command, even. Yep, he's got it there for you. Alright, let me check out the chat here. I feel like I missed a couple things. Had a bit of a headache. Sorry to hear that. And thanks for the positive feedback. No problem. Those bell-type sounds are from a Rhodes piano. When played softly, they have a nice bell kind of sound. It's actually a mallet hitting tines, which are like small pitchforks. Okay. I think I can picture how that works. I feel like there's a heart container on this level. I don't know for sure, but I feel like I might have found a heart container on this level before. So I want to make sure I'm kind of thorough in my search. I mean, I found new stuff last time we were here. I would suggest that the odds that there are more secrets I've yet to discover are fairly strong. I remember time is against me, but I'll trade a life. I'll happily trade a life for a permanent health up. If one exists. I won't happily trade a life for nothing like what I just got out of that situation. Go away, you garbage enemies. Using my impatience against me. There's something going on over there. Might be too late. I might have missed out on that. Oh, there's something in there. I can't go through there. Oh, maybe I can go above. I don't know that I've been up here before. Have I? This all seems very familiar. I think I've been up there plenty of times. Oh. This might be a waste. Oh, it was a waste. I thought I could break through the floor right here with that. Oh well. C'est la vie. Yeah, I got invincibility, but I'm stuck in this room. I can't... I'm stuck. I'm wasting it. Wasn't here? Don't remember. Was that always a spread gun? Unbelievable. Oh, this is probably a... is a drill. I want to go left or right. Let's try right. Right appears to have been a mistake. Oh no, I've only got 17 seconds. This game is a nightmare. So power-ups are contained inside these televisions, but the televisions are a collectible. So if you lose a life, the enemies all respawn, but the televisions do not. And so if you die on a level, that level becomes infinitely more hard. Because on the second attempt, you have to do it without any power-ups. victory. I think. I don't think that was a victory at all, was it? Damage, damage, damage. No, I lost. I thought that said level bonus. It said loser bonus. The game is literally calling me a loser, and I'm claiming victory. It's opposite day. Thought maybe I could ride down into the floor there. Alright, there is a heart piece on this level. There's a heart container. I mean, we need to get it. I need to remember to get that. We got the 1-up. I think that's the only 1-up that's on the level, so everything else, collectible-wise, is kind of optional. I want to make sure we stay... We actually want to make sure we stay near the top of things. Because you have to be up high to get to that heart container. I think the boss can be approached from 2 paths. I think there is a high path and a low path to the boss. Okay, here's our chance to take the high road. I'm in big trouble. I didn't even get a checkpoint. I didn't even make it to a checkpoint. Life is tough in this game. Oh, I just remembered. I owe StatCat a hydrate from like an hour ago. Strength for Life, welcome to the stream. Great to have you here. Let's enjoy our hydrate from StatCat. And we'll invert face cam. You almost about this game this past weekend. It's a good one, but it's very difficult. No continues. Held in my hands, told the teller, I heard this game was brutal. You have heard correctly. This game is pretty tough. I mean, I've definitely played more difficult games, but it's up there. It's one you gotta be willing to spend some time repeating the same parts and really kind of learning the game. It's not the kind of game that you can just blunder your way through. You do have to develop a certain degree of skill or a certain degree of mastery to consistently do well. Whether that be from skill in playing the game well or mastery of understanding where the items are and how to manipulate them. I don't know if blowing this open was actually a good move. I feel like coming in here is a bad idea. It was a bad idea. I'm gonna let this boss defeat me. Bought another semi-hard game with a funny title. Fair enough. Especially if you have 10 lives. I did. Believe it or not, I actually had 10 extra lives at one point. And I acted so foolishly that I lost most of them right away. I think Vectorman becomes I think it becomes more difficult the more lives you have. I think it's got a system built into a balancing system where if you have a whole lot of lives, the game becomes a little more janky and more difficult. We are ruining this boss this time. This boss took so many of my lives last time, and now look. Actually, I'm gonna die. Oh, maybe not. Victory. That's a weird fight. Gotta go. As before, I thoroughly enjoyed your stream, my friend. Thank you for being here, Doe. Thank you again for the gift sub. The support does really mean a lot to me, so thank you for that. And thank you for your company as well. I hope that you have a great rest of your night, and we'll look forward to seeing you again. Let's see. No continues. You start off with 3 lives. So learning where to find lives early on, vital. But you can do it. You can do it actually. You can build up a decent amount of lives pretty early if you do a little bit of exploring and you get a little bit lucky. There are quite a few situations in this game where you just kind of have to trial and error things out to figure out sort of the best way to operate in certain parts of the game. There is a degree to which the game is kind of trial and error and memorization. The worst thing about the game is the time limit. I'm gonna cry about it every chance I get. It takes a lot of the fun out of the game. But really, so far as complaints go, my complaints with this game would all be very minor. Even the things that I dislike about the game don't ruin it for me. Okay, so we just destroyed one of these things, so if we come across another satellite dish, we'll be able to break it open. I think the other satellite dish is actually really close by. Every game I play, I try to explore right on. I try to be the same way. I wish I did an even better job of exploring than I do. I feel like I do a pretty good job, but I wish I was even better at it. I dislike games that don't offer the chance to get extra lives. So did you know, in Super Ghouls and Ghosts, in the instruction manual, there's actually a 1-up item in the instruction manual in that game. And for the longest time, it seems that everyone believed that that was a misprint, or that there was an error in the game, because no one could ever find the 1-up in Super Ghouls and Ghosts. But it has been found, and it can, from what I understand, reliably be found. Although I've never succeeded in doing it. But the thing about the 1-up is the 1-up is an item that drops after you kill a certain number of a particular type of enemy. But those enemies spawn at such a slow rate that even if you stand in place farming them, you will run the timer down so that you will get the 1-up, but the timer will run out immediately afterward, and you will not be able to clear the level. So the 1-up item is the most useless 1-up that I can think of in all of gaming. It's collectible, but it costs a life to get it. You have Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the GBA. The GBA port is a decent port. It's not of course it's not perfectly true to the SNES version, but it's really close. The screen resolution is a little weird because of the GBA's screen dimensions, but only a little. It's definitely a really good version, and it has some cool extras. The arrange mode is completely unique to the GBA version, and I mean that alone is something pretty special. I haven't even played the arrange mode myself, but I'm just happy it exists. I'm looking forward to it one day. I've got the ×10 multiplier. I'm trying to rush to see if I can make it to a 1-up before the ×10 multiplier runs out. I don't know where the 1-up is, though. I think it's... Nope. I just got 10 extra lives. We've got 15 lives. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened. Let's go! This is the run, my friends. I don't even care that I just died. 14 lives, let's go! I can't believe I did that. Who cares about one continue? So that's the thing about this game. You can't earn your extra lives, really. I mean, you can't grind for your lives. You don't get them by points or collectibles in like the sense that you do in other games necessarily. You earn your lives by learning where items are and how to manipulate them in combination, like I just did. Right, if I know where a ×10 multiplier is, and if I know where a 1-up is, that's a 10-up. That's pretty cool. I think. Pretty bad that I wasted the drill, but it's alright. I don't know this for sure, but those satellite dishes that we've encountered a couple times, I think the other night someone was trying to drop a spoiler on me. They said something that sounded to me like a hint that collecting those satellites is actually mandatory for the true ending of the game, and I haven't been collecting them, though I have been trying to make a note of where they are when I come across them, in case that turns out to be true. I'd prefer not to know, but I mean, the suggestion has been planted, so now I'm worried. So there's a very good chance we may end up beating this game at some point, but get a bad ending, and so we'll have to play it again. I think I'll be okay with that, though. This boss really needs to run out of health. Thank you. There's another ×10 multiplier. I wonder if there's a 1-up in range of it, though. I kinda halfway knew about the ×10 multiplier and the 1-up on the other level. I didn't know for sure where they were, but I kinda did. Well, I lost it now anyway. Oh no, I still have it. Cool. You keep the multiplier even across your death. Oh, well, now it's gone because I picked up another multiplier. So, but anyway, we've just learned where a ×10 multiplier is on this level, so we need to pay real close attention to where a 1-up is and how close it is to that multiplier. These insects are the worst. They're impossible to jump past. Even if we do find a 1-up, there's so many enemies that getting from the ×10 to the 1-up without picking up a different multiplier, that may be somewhat impossible. That's breakable. With this? Yeah. Cool. One up. Nope, just health. You're still up, Frownie. I'm still up for now, yeah. I was saying before, for anyone who wasn't here, I was talking at the start of the stream, I'm really tired tonight. Ooh, nice, I've never been in here. So I was saying this is definitely not going to be a stream as long as some of the ones we've had recently. And in fact, it may even be kind of short compared to some of our streams, but I'm hanging in there, and, you know, we're having a pretty good time. I'm just not in top form. Okay, there's a ×5 multiplier. Here's a satellite dish, but I didn't destroy the thing that goes with it. Oh, there's the thing that goes with it. Perfect. Okay, that one's easy. Hey, we got a heart container, it looks like, too. Please be a piece of health. It's not a piece of health. Oh, no. The satellite's still active? Oh, I didn't blow this up. There we go. I'm running out of time. Quick, we can salvage it if I can blow this up. Victory. surprised Frownie is still up. Yeah, I'm surprised I'm still up. How is Scooby-Doo? Scooby-Doo is, that one is, the one we started tonight is okay. First impression is it's okay. It's a little underwhelming. I think it's going to be better than the previous game, though. Which the previous game was, in some ways, the best one we've played, so... This one may become the best one we've played. It's got a lot of blind jumps. I really don't like that about it. And it's kind of, It's pretty clunky in a lot of its controls. But it has potential to not... It has potential for me to not hate it. And when it comes to sort of, you know, when it comes to jank marathon material, right? Sometimes that's all we have to hope for. If I don't hate it, then that's a victory. That was a real quick victory on that previous level. That level has historically given me a bit more trouble than that, so that was nice. Watch Licorice Pizza? I've never even heard of that. Sounds like an awful culinary idea, though. I don't like real licorice at all. Give me the strawberry and cherry flavored stuff. Hey, we've got some people coming in. Nice. Hey, great to see you. Sarumaru, thank you for the raid. Is that Cerulean? Welcome in. Ken Masters, good to see you again. Is that Takeda or Takeda? Harunobu. Is that Elzira? If I'm saying anyone's name wrong, I'm giving them my best shot to give you the chance to correct me. Please do. Jesse McFluff. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've had a good stream. Tell us what you're up to, Sarumaru. We're all retro game developers. I am very much not. I'm barely a retro game player. I mean, retro is all I do. I just mean I'm not very competent. I'm far from being being able to develop anything. GT Beakerman, welcome to the stream. That name's got quite a ring to it. Just beat some Mega Man 3. Nice. Mega Man 3 is the only one of the original 6 I have not beaten. I played it a little bit, but that's the only one I haven't beaten. We've done 4, 5, and 6 on the stream, and 1. I've played and beaten 2 off stream a long time ago, but 3 remains unconquered. Mega Man 3 is hard, so GG's, hats off to you. That game is tough. Thank you for the follow, Ken Masters. Much appreciated. Thank you for coming on board with us. For those of you new to the stream, I guess I'll tell you, I'm Frownie, of course. I stream several nights a week from about 10:30 p.m. Central Time for usually around 6 hours, give or take. We're going to go toward a little bit of a shorter stream tonight, probably, when all is said and done. But we often go much later. I do retro variety. I emphasize really strictly blind first playthroughs of games where I stubbornly stumble my way through them. And if I come across a really challenging game that I really enjoy, like Super C or Super Ghouls and Ghosts, we'll do challenge runs of it, where I'll go for Deathless and other sort of gimmicky criteria. And in general, we try to have a pretty laid-back stream all around. Everyone gets to relax and chill while I struggle and suffer through games that are either too hard for me or games that are too broken to enjoy. I have a thing for playing all the way through trash games. This is not a trash game. Scooby-Doo in the earlier part of the stream, that game's pretty trash. This game is very brutal. This game is very difficult. But we're doing well right now. We've got 14 lives. I've got high hopes. I've never beaten this game before. I played it for the very first time a couple streams back. This is the third time I've been giving it a try, and we're doing well. I'll probably curse this if I say it out loud, but we might actually beat it. I'm afraid I don't understand the references to Kata. I'm not sure which character you're talking about in Mega Man, and I'm not sure who this Hatsune character that you mentioned is. But I suppose I'm very happy for you. DRN002. Are you cold tonight? I'm always I live in Wisconsin, and I stream from the basement of my home. So I'm always a little chilly. Hence the sort of hood scarf combo I've got going tonight. You can never really see it, but I've always got a blanket across my lap too. It is appropriately a Super Mario blanket. So it keeps me warm. It's pretty chilly down here, so I do what I can to stay warm. Cheesehead. Yeah, we're all kind of. I think we're required by law to root for the Packers, right? Or I guess I would if I were a sports guy. Don't let the game know it'll make it get harder. Yeah, I know. I know, that's the thing. Vectorman is one of those games that when you're doing well, the game magically becomes more difficult to counteract your success. I'm in Illinois, we're neighbors. Yeah, so I grew up in Kentucky. I was actually born in Italy, but I grew up in Kentucky, and I've lived lots of different places. I lived in Tennessee and Texas and Korea and Thailand, and now finally Wisconsin. And I really hope I can die here. Not that I'm in a hurry to die, but just when I do, I want it to be having never moved again because I've moved too much. Nah, I can't speak any Italian. I'm actually wearing a hoodie and a blanket myself and no scarf though. Nice. Originally from Minnesota, big time Vikings fan. So I do like if I were gonna root for a team, if I were into sports, I would root for the Vikings because I like their purple uniforms. Don't let any of my neighbors know that. I'm wearing a hoodie also. It's blue, but not as bold as Frownie's. Jelly made this for me to keep me warm. Here, moving is the worst. Moving is the worst. MK, welcome in. Great to have you here. I think we're caught up on the. I think we're caught up with the most of the chat. I'll stop standing around in place here. So this level is where things started really kind of going bad for me, I think. Well, in just about every playthrough. The temptation to just kind of rush through this game is very high. And you can only succeed so much by doing that, I feel like I've learned. That time limit running down has got me really worried. No! Now it's got me super worried. Oh, but we're right at the end of the level. We're okay. Purple Pride. Jelly is a lady of many talents. That she is. That she is. It looks very toasty. It is. It is. I was actually going to wear it last night because I was cold down here, but the thing is, because it's got this sort of scarf thing to it, it keeps the back of my neck really, really hot. And it was actually, even though it was cold down here, it was actually too hot last night to wear it. But tonight it's kind of just what I need. Most of my family are like, they're super talented with crafty stuff, and I'm the oddball. My sister and Jelly and my mom and my dad, like, they can all crochet and sew, and most of them can do music, and they can draw, and I don't have many talents, comparable talents to boast of. I'm a proficient rhythm guitarist, but that's about it. Living in Texas now, so only wear hoodies in the winter. I lived in Houston. I lived in Houston for like 7 years. 6 or 7 years. Oh, it was a nightmare for me. I mean, I had some good times and some good friends down there, but the weather was a nightmare. I had to move 4 times when I lived in Houston. Not counting the moves to the city and away from the city. I had 4 different apartments. It was not fun. You're good at streaming and playing video games. Thank you, MK. You are too kind. Mine's a navy blue hoodie from a reasonably priced store. I'm not much for luxury clothing myself. I'm pretty Spartan in my wardrobe habits. I generally just want clothes that are cheap and durable. I'm more than happy to get my stuff secondhand too, but trouble is, I'm a really big guy. It's very difficult to find stuff that fits me secondhand. Clutch clear. Nice. The Kappa state? Is that a satellite dish up there? No. I found the shield control for the satellite on this level, so if we keep our eyes peeled, we might find the satellite as well and be able to get out of this level early. I think this is my favorite level in the game aesthetically. I don't know how well it shows up in the capture, but the Starry Night background with the with those clouds down at the bottom, they're kind of purplish on the CRT. They could maybe stand to be a little bit more vibrant than they are, but is that the Earth? I thought that was the moon, but now I kind of think it might be the Earth. That's weird. But yeah, the starry night sky is wonderful, and I like all this sort of it looks like Victorian era architecture. these stone columns and lamps. I'm gonna assume that item is not worth it. It's too difficult to get back in there. I could drop down and get in there, but I think that's not I think that's not worth it. I'd like to get in there. I don't think I can though. I'd like to get more time. My clock is almost empty. What am I supposed to do with this? Follow the whatever? Shows up well enough on the screen, stream? Right on. Sometimes it's just what I see on the CRT and what you guys see on the capture card. Sometimes there's sort of a disconnect or a loss of detail. I don't have a lot of confidence in my equipment. Alright, did I make the right decision not coming back in here? It looks like it. That didn't seem to be anything worthwhile. They just knocked me right out of the sky. Oh, but we're in here now. Cool. Okay, this is a wall I can go through. I don't know why I'd want to. Cerulean, thank you for the follow as well, my friend. Thank you for coming on board with us. Alright, another bonus level. I've never succeeded at one of these bonus levels yet. Maybe this will be the one. I'm gonna try and stay really focused and try really hard to not mess up. Taking a lot of damage. How am I supposed to survive for 15 more seconds? The loser bonus yet again. Right at the start, there's some kind of goodie right at the start. I forgot about it. We're not going to get another chance. There's something probably good there too, and I missed out on it. All those televisions. Every time you see me fall past a television, those are opportunities for amazing items that I am missing out on. Okay. Clearly I need to be sticking toward the right. That's where everything good that I've missed so far has been on the right-hand side, it looks like. Okay, what's our prize for coming all the way up here? Nothing. Alright, there's a secret up here, though. What am I doing wrong? There we go. It is a 1-up. Oh! It's a 2-up. I had a multiplier. Nice. So there are no continues. You lose all your lives, you go back to the title screen. So 1-ups are very valuable. But they're rare. They're hidden in specific locations. They can only be sort of found and not really earned. But if you have a multiplier active, it affects 1-ups. So, like, if you get a like a ×2 or ×3 point multiplier, then any 1-up you collect is a 2-up or 3-up, and that applies all the way up to a 10 times point multiplier, which is amazing. To get to turn a 1-up into a 10-up, mind blowing. There are also heart containers, give you extra health points. But I don't know where hardly any of them are. You start off with 4 hits, and I've made my way up to 7, which is pretty good, but... I think we could probably be closer to 9 or 10 even by now. If I knew the levels better. You can't jump over this boss when he's charging, because he'll just turn around and you'll land on him. Like this. I messed up. Alright. Where... Okay, I know where we are. It's not good. Drop items don't respawn, so you can't farm the same 1-ups repeatedly. Items that drop from TVs, rather. Alright, I need to just not be greedy. Run. Alright, boss number 3. Oh, nice, they gave us an extra piece of health. I don't remember how to fight this boss. Something about knocking him down, but not really sure what his pattern looks like. You do damage enemies when they're off screen, but only when they're kind of just barely off screen. We almost had him. We almost had him. Oh, well, I'm starting off real bad. These dive bombing insects are just the worst thing in the game. They're so frustrating. And they come back all the time. Like if you move a pixel away and come back, then they're there all over again. Okay, there's really no reason I should get hit by this enemy. That was so easy. I don't know why it was so easy that time. But I'll take it. Victory. Oh, I remember my last playthrough died because we got to this weird gimmick level and I couldn't figure out how to not immediately die. Oh no. Our future might be very bleak. what's up here? Probably a full health refill. Oh yeah, I remember this level now. Checkpoint. Going down. Okay, not entirely sure where I'm flying to. In there? I don't think so. Well, I tried my best. Okay, we can go up here. Okay, I found this pathway before too, but I don't remember if there was any benefit to taking this path. Doesn't look like it. Wow, you really just have to ride this all the way down. It's kind of dull. It's a long way down. Can I go up through there? Oh, I can. Nice. Okay, good. Except now I'm higher up than I want to be. Never in my life did I ever think I would ever be smacked around so much by fire extinguishers. Victory! We didn't make it out of there with a lot of health, but we made it out. We're getting close. I know we've got to be getting close to as far as I've ever been. This is it! This is the level where I ran out of lives. This gimmick level. Oh, it's like something, it's disgusting. It's like something out of Earthworm Jim. I do get Earthworm Jim vibes, yeah. I mean, it's all I can think of. It's like that bungee level. I mean, it's not very much like it in a one-to-one way, but... And the fact that it's a weird gimmick level with wonky physics, and it goes on for an annoyingly long time. Oh, victory! Nice! Oh, that went so much better. Last time that guy pulverized me. Yeah, that bungee level. I never want to play that again. That was the last boss! I made it all the way to the last boss the last time we played this. I died at the last boss. Oh, I didn't even get to read the victory message. It went by too fast. I'll have to look at the VOD later. Alright, actually I did get to read it because the capture is delayed enough. The stream is delayed enough that I actually did just read it to myself now. Thank you. Thank you for the GGs, the celebratory emotes. Thank you for the trophies. And is that I don't know this. Who is this character? Oh, it's a flex. Thank you, my friends. All right, I can't believe it. We made it through. Aurora Borealis. It's from TMNT 1 on the NES. It looked familiar. I just couldn't quite place it. Spider Bomber. I do like the cast of character roll here at the end. So from what I can tell, it looks like, I mean, it didn't look like we got a bad ending. The ending that we got looked satisfactory. So I'm not sure if it's true that those satellites were mandatory. I think they might exist just for a bonus level, but not like, because they were compared to the, someone in the chat compared them to the Chaos Emeralds from Sonic, which are like mandatory for the true ending, right? But I don't know. I mean, it still could be. It just nothing. The game hasn't indicated to us anyway that they're mandatory. Hello, Boat Ladder. Welcome in. Hope your Tuesday is treating you well, my friend. The music designers in this game were greatly limited by the Genesis FM chip. That would have made amazing music on the SNES, you think? I am. I mean, you know more about this stuff than I do, but I've found the music to be pretty satisfactory. But whenever I hear, like, whenever there's a game that's on both consoles and I hear the Genesis music next to the SNES music, the Genesis is almost never better to me. I can't say it's absolutely never better. I feel like there have been a couple examples where the music's better on the Genesis, but it's really rare. Music is great, but I can hear they're going for music that really needs better hardware. You're probably right. This game is like, this game is kind of amazing though. Like, visually, especially some of the effects that they pull off in this. It's really amazing to me. That's a Genesis game. Because they pull off some stuff that looks a lot like things that only the SNES would have been able to do. Sonic music is the most memorable game music for me. I really loved it as a kid. All right. Well, I hate to tell you this, Boat Ladder, but you've kind of arrived at the end of the stream. I really hate to do that to you, though. But I don't have anything else planned. The only other thing that I had that we could have done tonight would be Super C, but we finished that last night. How much time do we have? You know what I think I'll do? I think I will stream just a little bit longer. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the SNES, and I'm going to do a playthrough of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, just because. So it might not be the most thrilling thing that I could throw on, but I love the game, and I haven't played it in a little while, so I think I'm just going to throw that on and play it. So we'll do that, and then I'll and then we'll end the stream after that, I think. So yeah, thank you for enjoying Vectorman with me, my friends. Does anyone know? Let me ask, does anyone know, do you get a different, since I completed the playthrough, I can get a spoiler now, I guess. Does anyone know, do you get a different ending if you find all of those satellite dishes? Are they mandatory for the true ending, or are they just optional things? I'm not sure. I don't think so, Sparrow. I would guess that you mean Matt from Cartridge Blowers. They haven't come by. Vectorman. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let me get the console switched over, my friends. I'll be right back with you.